the staff to get started. I'd love the staff to introduce themselves, and in the interest of time, we'll keep it short. Just your name, role, and how long you've been with the Family Van, and I'll call on people just to keep us moving. So my name's Molly Williams, and I'm the executive director, and I've been in this role for 5 years. And I'm just going to call on you guys in the order I see you on my screen. So Mary Catherine.
Hi, I'm Mary Catherine Fallon. I am the Assistant Director of Finance and Operations, and this week is my 9th year at the Family Van, so that's exciting.
Congratulations, that's great. Gigi, you're up next.
Hi, my name is Ghislaine Furman. I'm the health educator of the Family Van and the driver. And next month will be 11 years on the van.
Wow, congratulations. Margaret.
Hi, everyone. I'm Margaret Walker, and I'm the Communications and Outreach Coordinator for the Family Van, and I've been working here since August.
Great, thanks, Margaret. Tonex.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tonex Lewis. I am Program Manager for Mobile Health Map, and I've been in this role since April.
Great, welcome. Nancy.
Hi, I'm Nancy Oriole, co-founder from 1992, and I've been in this role for 30 plus years.
Fantastic. Thanks, Nancy. Simone.
Hi, everyone. I'm Simone de Oliveira. I am a community health worker at the Family Van, and I'm also the volunteer program coordinator. I have been with the Family Van for like a year and 6 months.
Great, thanks, Simone. Piper.
Hello, everyone. Piper Drenoncourt, and I manage our mental health programming at the Family Van, and I was trying to calculate, about 2.5 years in different roles.
Fantastic. Josephina.
Hi, everyone. I'm Josephina Lynn, and I'm the staff assistant with the Family Van, and I've been with the van for about 2 years.
Great, thanks, Josephina. And Dina.
Good afternoon, everyone. Dina Martinez here. I'm a community health worker with the Family Van, and I've also helped Piper with Healthy Roads, with the Healthy Roads program. And I've been with the Family Van for 10 months now. Thanks.
Fantastic. Did I get all the staff? I'm just making sure. I can't see everyone's pictures. Did I miss anyone? No. Okay, well, let's keep going then. I'm going to run through a few slides, but we're going to leave most of the time for discussion. And so first, I'd love to know a little bit more about the rest of you. I don't think we have time to do introductions, live introductions, but I'd love to ask you each to introduce yourself in the chat. Let us know. We'll be able to see your name because it's listed in the Zoom list. But tell us also maybe where you are, because I know we have people from all over the country here, and how you're connected to our work. It looks like we have former staff, current and former volunteers and students, donors, supporters, just fans of the Family Van. So yeah, just add it to the chat. Don't be shy. Thanks so much, Martha. We're really glad you're here. Martha's the Director of Recruitment for the MADRC in Boston, and a big fan of the Family Van. I'm so glad you're here, Martha. And who else? Who else do we have in the room that can introduce themselves in the chat? Maria, I see you. Great to see everyone. Maria is part of Harvard Medical School. We're a big fan of Maria, and I think Maria is a big fan of us as well. Lorraine, great. Thank you, Lorraine. And Allison. Well, Lorraine, you're coming to us from Florida and know us through our work, our national work through Mobile Health Map and the Mobile Healthcare Association. I'm so glad you're here. And Paula, thank you so much for coming. Danielle, big fans of the Family Van, yes, and Mobile Health Map. Thank you so much. Okay, I'm going to let you guys keep introducing yourself. Please keep it going. Carissa, Mike, thank you so much for joining us. So like I said, I'm going to run through just a few slides, but I want us to spend most of our time hearing from you and hearing from members of the team. So can you see my slide that says celebrating 30 years?
Yes.
Yep. Great, thank you. And I can't see you guys now. So if you need to interrupt me at any point, just unmute and speak up. So please be thinking as I go through about your questions, comments, reflections. You can jot them down and then raise them later, or you can even put them in the chat while I'm talking. And when we get to the point after I'm done sharing the slides, you can share your thoughts or questions or reflections in whatever way is most comfortable to you. So through the chat, you can also raise your hand virtually or your physical hand and unmute. We just ask that everyone mute themselves when you're not speaking. So first, a big celebration. This year, 2022, we celebrated 30 years serving under-resourced, but very rich in other ways, neighborhoods here in Boston. And I love this picture. I don't know if you guys can see, we've got Cheryl Dorsey, Nancy, the mayor at the time, Mayor Menino?
Yes, Mayor Menino.
And on the right, this is our current team. So sort of 30 years ago and then today. There are an estimated 2,000 mobile clinics in the US, probably much more than that. That's a conservative estimate. And I have to tell you, each one is unique. And one of the things that makes the Family Van unique is that we are run by community health workers, many of whom are on this call. Most of you probably know Raynell Walker-White, who wasn't able to join us today. She's our longest standing community health worker and also holds the position of Associate Director of Health Equity Programs. And you can see her there on the top right with Simone. And she's joined not only by Simone, Gigi, and Dina, who you see on these pictures and on in your boxes here on Zoom with us today, but also by students and volunteers. Since we began in 1992, we've completed more than 120,000 visits with 71,000 people. We've also trained 7,000 students and volunteers. One of the most exciting things that happened this year was the launch of a new clinic. It's equipped with the most recent technology for air filtration, easy to sanitize surfaces, and Wi-Fi. We are very grateful to Boston Scientific and Harvard Medical School, who provided the funding so we could purchase this new vehicle. As many of you know, we make weekly stops in Dorchester, Roxbury, and East Boston, provide free health screenings, and we welcome everyone, no matter who they are, where they come from. It's a judgment-free zone, and we treat everyone with compassion and dignity. And in addition to the screenings that we provide and the education, we provide a lot of referrals and connection to the many resources that we have here in Boston. And we're fortunate to be able to connect people with a plethora of resources and help them figure out where to start, because it can be even for someone who was born here, who speaks a language, who has insurance. Our healthcare system, our social service system can be very complicated and difficult to navigate, and we're there to help our clients get the care that they need and deserve. As I mentioned, the community health workers are accompanied by students and volunteers, many of whom are pictured here. They include undergraduates, medical students, and community members. And not only do our volunteers help us reach more people and keep us young, I have to tell you, makes me, sometimes I realize, gosh, it's been 30 years since I went to college. Gosh, is that right? Yeah, 30 years since I started college. And I still, I love working with the volunteers because they remind me of what life was like at that time and how exciting it was to think about my future and to learn about public health and get exposed to public health. And if I hadn't had those experiences, I wouldn't be here. So not only do they keep us young and help us reach more people, we are also committed to teaching the next generation of healthcare providers how to deliver compassionate, non-judgmental, patient-centered care to the diverse communities like the ones we serve here in Boston. The Family Van's also an important training ground, continues to be an important training ground for Harvard medical students. Many of us, both Nancy and I, are on faculty in the Department of Global Health and Social Medicine, and we teach and mentor medical students. And the community health workers and other members of our team frequently provide guest lectures and mentorship to students, including Luis and Sandy, who you see here, who were clerks on the van as part of a hands-on elective for third and fourth year medical students that we offer. And Luis and Sandy were two of our more recent medical students that did a rotation on the van. And for the last two summers, we have also held an internship program for underrepresented groups in medicine. And thanks to our very generous supporters, we're able to pay these interns, which creates learning opportunities for students who cannot otherwise volunteer for unpaid roles. And this program is part of our larger commitment as a team to equity, diversity, inclusion, and belonging. And it's so much fun to work with these interns. Here's one quote that I love from a summer 2022 intern. She said, "I really appreciate the opportunity to work with such a diverse group of women and staff on the Family Van. Being able to work in my own community is exactly the reason I want to go into healthcare. I want to make visiting the hospital or clinic less stressful and scary for my community. And I want to be part of the next generation of healthcare workers that bring change." That's exactly what we hope to do too. So one program that some of you may not yet be familiar with, we launched during the pandemic and are now delivering both virtually and in person, is Healthy Roads. It was designed as a mental health program, but we've really come to talk about it and see it as a program of wellness, of mind-body wellness. And it includes education around nutrition, sleep, movement, connection, all the different things that we can do to keep our bodies and our brains and our spirits healthy. So this slide gives you a little bit more detail about Healthy Roads, and this may be something that you want to come back to. So jot down if you want to hear more about Healthy Roads. But essentially, it's 5 personalized sessions, one-on-one sessions with community health workers. It comes from an evidence-based curriculum called Problem Management Plus. It's so much more than just managing problems, but it is designed to help cope with stress and solve problems and to promote both physical and mental wellness. And we're really proud of the work we've done to expand our services to more intentionally address mental health and well-being. We also have done a ton of special events post-pandemic, not post-pandemic. Heard someone the other day call it peri-pandemic. But what I'm trying to say is that people are doing more in-person events. And so we're back out there representing the Family Van and Harvard Medical School at these events, bringing services to communities that we may not get to on a regular basis. So we participated in the Colon Cancer Coalition 5K. We've been now to the Mattapan Farmers Market several times. Here's an example of a event that we attended with Via Aid, and we are constantly getting more and more requests to participate in these community events. And it's a great way to reach people that we otherwise might not see on our regular steps. And last but not least is Mobile Health Map. Some of you may know that we sort of have this three-legged stool. We've got our direct service, our community health work. We have our training for volunteers and students developing this next generation of healthcare professionals. And we have research evaluation on the local and the national level. So Mobile Health Map is how we do that on the national level in close collaboration with the Mobile Healthcare Association. And our mission on Mobile Health Map is to help mobile clinics across the country measure and communicate their impact. So this year we released a new report called The Case for Mobile that outlines the business case and how mobile clinics goals align with healthcare business goals. We've also launched something called the Mobile Health Innovation Collaborative, where we're working closely with mobile clinics around the country on one-on-one and small group evaluation support so they can measure their impact on things like overdose prevention, diabetes management, dental care, vision screening for kids, and really help them to better communicate the impact that they're having in their communities. And finally, we're about to launch a new website. So very soon you'll have to check out mobilehealthmap.org and see our new website and all the new tools that are available there. And I want to acknowledge the Leon Lowenstein Foundation for their support for Mobile Health Map. It's been an area of tremendous growth these last couple of years. So I went through that very quickly. And I've acknowledged a few of our donors for specific initiatives, but I'd be remiss in not acknowledging all the other many donors who have helped us to implement these programs over the last several years, and especially a thank you to all of our individual donors. So we've listed out here many of the institutional donors who support us, and we depend on the gifts of individual donors. So thank you so much. Now let me go back here to questions. We've listed a number of the different topics that you might want to hear more about. And I really want you to hear from someone other than me. So please do drop your questions in the chat or raise your hand. And we'd love to hear what you want to hear about.
I'm on mute. I'm still on mute. Can't believe this after 2 years, still on mute.
Hi, Maria.
Hi, everyone. So I just have a question about the communities we serve, Molly. And I think when I started at HMS last year, it kind of came to my mind, but I kind of forgot to ask. So you serve currently 3 communities, right? East Boston, Roxbury, and Dorchester, I believe. Mm-hmm. So are you thinking, or is the family van plans to expand to other communities? And if not, like what data or how do you decide which communities are, you know, under the parameters of needing the family van versus not? I think a lot about Chelsea. You know, I come from Roxbury. I grew up there, but I also have, you know, family in other areas. So I was just thinking during the pandemic, wow, how great wouldn't it have been to have something like the family van go there as well. So if you can just tell me a little bit more about your plans there on expanding.
Sure. Yeah, thank you. I would say the short answer is yes, we'd love to get to new communities and are working hard to raise money to be able to expand our staff and our days of operation to be able to get to more places. And I'd love for some of the other staff to talk about where we have gone in the past. So we've in the past had a presence in Mattapan in Hyde Park. And we do go places where we've been invited. So we're constantly building relationships with folks, including people in Chelsea. We see a lot of people in East Boston who come from Chelsea. But yeah, who else wants to speak to like the communities that we serve and why we go where we go, or where we've gone in the past?
I can do that.
Thanks,
We
Gigi.
usually go to Mattapan Square. Hi, Francine, nice to see you. Mattapan was very busy. People love us over there, but when they opened the community health center, they don't want us there. They said we are too close to them. It's like we are taking the client away from them. So because of that, we can't go to Mattapan anymore. We used to be parking at iPark, and there was nobody. It's like we sit there for 3 hours, we don't see no one, sometimes one person. It's like we are wasting fuel, wasting money. So they decided not to go. And parking was tough also to get in. We used to go on Wasbury Community College on Monday morning, and it was a fight for parking. Even we have sign, people park, we can get a spot to park the van. So it was hard and it was really slow also. So that's the reason we stopped going those places.
Thanks,
So those
Gigi.
places that we go, it's like they're looking for us, like especially like Codman Square, Nubian Square, East Boston, people always looking for us. So it's like it's more activities over there where we go. So.
Yeah.
Got it. That makes
And-
sense. Demand, right? More demand too.
Yes.
Can I-
Molly?
And the communities are constantly changing too. So yeah, we can be in one place and there's high demand, and then things change. People move or new options open up. So yeah, Gigi's right. There's been places that we've been in the past, and then the need wasn't as strong there as it was in other places. And I expect that'll continue to happen.
Mhm.
Can I just add something? Maria, you said about Chelsea, and Chelsea, we're right there, right near Chelsea and the east border, kind of like on the border of like Chelsea right there. So we do have a lot of my clients who comes from Chelsea, and those communities, Chelsea and East Boston, I find that they're very similar communities, and so they go back and forth. Those are two towns that, like, you know, a lot of the services, the resources that we provided, a lot of people from Chelsea come to East Boston, so that's why we have a number of clients who comes from both of those cities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Molly, could I just add, we actually did go to Chelsea for a while. But in fact, the drive to get there was
Oh,
almost prohibitive. And so, you know, when we figure out where we're going to go, there's the issue of how do you get there? Where do you park? Then the issue of in the community, like they're communities of need, but they don't have a place that really fits a van well. You know, in terms of it's not the way that community wants to access their care. Whereas other places, you know, like Mattapan Square, as Gigi said, I mean, Gigi caught it exactly right. That was incredibly busy. And in fact, I think one of the reasons they moved the neighborhood health center from where it was to Mattapan Square is that we showed that that was where people wanted to go. You know, and it's sort of, that's an amazing use of mobile clinics, is sort of put them someplace, see if it's really successful. And maybe that is the space you want a fixed clinic, but everybody else place you want the sort of adaptable, flexible, drive in and out type of.
yeah. Makes sense.
We even tried to go to Quincy.
Yeah.
And Willen and I, we've been going to Quincy. The people said, we don't want your van there. We don't want you there. It's like they tell us why they don't want the van over there. So it's like we're gonna bring bad stuff to them, so they don't want it. So they don't have a chance to try it.
And every year we track our data and we ask people where their home zip code is or where they're from. And if we do see, you know, a big population of people coming from a different community where we're not in a convenient location, it is something that we can reach out to the community and do some outreach and see, you know, if that's a place that would be suitable for us to park.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for that question, Maria. What other questions do y'all have? Oh, I see one. Oh, I think it was just for me, but I will say there's a question to me in the chat that other people may be interested in hearing about. Just how do I get involved as a volunteer or even a practicum student? So we have students sometimes who are working on an MPH, a master's in public health, or another degree who want to join us. And the best person to contact if you want to volunteer or get involved in as a student or a volunteer is Simone. Simone is our volunteer program manager. And I don't know, Simone, if you want to put your email address in the chat or the general Family Van email in the chat, and maybe say a few words about what volunteers can do with us.
So best way for you to volunteer with us is definitely going through the website, and just applying there. We're gonna have a new cohort of volunteer coming in September. But I heard something when I first started to do the volunteer. The volunteer program is like the backbones of the Family Van. Like, we do rely on volunteers to see the clients, to do the events, all the events that you see us there doing. We make sure that we have volunteers there with us, and I think it's a great program to. Harvard medical students is a great program for them, but like also for anybody who wants to get their foot into healthcare, if you wants to like experiment with healthcare or like have the wish of like working in healthcare. So there's a great way of them to start to see how it is that the basics of healthcare is done in a setting that you like, right in a community, you're right in a field, you're working right with the community. And a lot of people who comes, they are looking for that experience. They are looking for, to have a moment to like really experience like working with us at the event because of this setup that we have. We're right in a community, so that it can get more hands-on than that. You know what I mean? Like sometimes in a clinic, you have like the whole process of getting to one person to get into another to see a doctor. So there's this whole formality of it. Like, we're not doctors at the event. And so we have this opportunity to bring people in. They are like not doctors, but like have access to them and ask questions to them. So this is a little bit of like what the volunteers do. I think that like Margaret put a Family Van application on here. So if anybody wants to like just shoot us an email, I'm also gonna leave my email address here on the chat, and you can also email me if you have any more questions or have any interest.
Thanks, Simone. And Tonex, do you want to say a few words about volunteer opportunities for students interested in research or evaluation? Not to put you on the spot, but putting you on the spot.
That's okay. But I think the best way also is to reach out to use the website, the Family Van website to do the application. And I think Simone will work with me to know who want to do to volunteer with Mobile Health Map in conducting research or like helping with like any other activities. I think that's the best way to go. Or you can just email Mobile Health Map, mobilehealthmap@hms.harvard.edu. If you send an email there, we can connect with you, and we can connect you with like different opportunities. If you feel better with the Family Van, I will connect you with Simone, and if I think there's a possibility for us like to work together, and I will reach out to you. But currently we have 2 practicum students from UNE working with us, and I think we have 2 graduate students from Harvard that went to the same process. So we always welcome students and new volunteers.
How do you use your volunteers?
So most of our work are done by volunteers because we don't have many people with many staff, Nancy. So the way we work with volunteers, it's based on on the availability, because a lot of people that want to volunteer, they have like other responsibility. So we create projects that meet this, that can meet their schedule, and then also that can work for us too. And we meet once a week to go over details, and they working on the ongoing projects, for example.
I think you're being a little bit humble. So Molly, I just have to tell a story, of course. So Winnebago, as you know, the big manufacturer of mobile clinics, saw that we had mobile health map, and they went on the map and they were saying, well, they wanted to know where all the mobile clinics were, because that would be great people to market to. So they asked if they could partner with us, and and basically what they wanted to do was us give them all of our data and maybe help us a little bit. And they decided they were going to invest in an entire research group to try to duplicate what we had done for mobile health map, but do it in just one state. So they were going to try to do a mobile health map for just California. And they have a lot of money, and they had a lot of people, and they tried for what, maybe, was it a year, Molly? I don't remember. And at the end of the year, they gave up. And they said to us, wow, what you guys have done, and that was done mostly with volunteers, they couldn't do with a huge paid staff. So what our volunteers do is just sort of work little miracles, and we're proud of them.
Thanks, Nancy. What other questions do you guys have? Well, I have a question, or I'm prepared with a question. I think I teed up that you might want to hear more about healthy roads, because I want you to hear more about healthy roads, because it's very exciting. So maybe I'll look to Piper or Dina or both of you to tell us a little bit more about why we developed healthy roads, and a little bit about some of the successes.
I can start us off about the history of the development, and then Dina, if you want to chime in about what we've seen so far. So we, Family Van, was witnessing, hearing, and we just a need for more culturally responsive mental health services. There was a number of access barriers in many communities, and despite Boston being a high resource setting and actually having a lot of mental health clinicians, they're not easy to access. And they typically tend to be white practitioners. They have very set schedules, they have certain fees, long waiting list, you name it. There's plenty, location, language, there's just a number of barriers. And so the community really just said, like, this is something that, a lot of the communities are dealing with different stressors caused by adversity and environmental stressors. And so for some people, they might have a diagnosable mental health disorder, but not everyone, but they're still dealing with adversity and stress. And so through a number of listening sessions, doing some qualitative research in the communities to really learn like what would work. We were able to pair that with talking to other leaders in the field and learn about Problem Management Plus, which was designed by the World Health Organization. And that seemed to really be a good fit. It was designed to be offered by non-mental health specialists in low resource settings globally. So it can be adapted for different cultures, different settings. And so we ran with that, trained a cohort of community health workers and went through 6 months of piloting it, making a huge number of adaptations. We continue to adapt the program, and it's been such an amazing learning experience. And we've definitely seen how impactful it can be. And I'm going to pass it to Dina to talk a little bit more about the work.
Thank you, Piper. So yes, Healthy Roads, like Piper was just explaining about supporting the community. So my role in Healthy Roads is we serve, especially in East Boston, the Latino community. So Healthy Roads, I offer it in Espanol. And what I've learned, yes, Maria, I saw your eyebrows go up. Thank you. Is that it has a different feeling in Espanol, right? And I've done it in English as well. But the stigma, what approaching it from a cultural point of view is very impactful. It has been very successful. And the program offers 5 sessions, and each session is created for the individual. So it's not one size fits all. So it's very personalized, has a lot of compassion, and we focus on the wellness of each client, male, females, all genders. So the PM Plus, like Piper was mentioning, the Program Management Plus, which focuses on problem solving and mental health wellness, because the stressors come in all forms, right? And if I'm stressed out, I tend to eat a little bit more, or maybe not sleep, or get anxious, or, you know, for some people, depression, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So we really focus on what the client needs are from a personal, cultural, career. I mean, everything. The entire 5 sessions are so successful because there is this investment of time, energy, and our own care for people. So if anyone out there is interested in knowing more about how we run these programs, do contact us. I'll be more than happy to tell you about our success.
I'm just going to add a couple more things. So, you know, I think one of the great things is like it also just reduces so many of those barriers I talked about. So because it's in the community, it can be on the van. We take a really integrative approach. So while we're offering other services and checking in with clients, we can learn a little bit about them and then see would it be a good match for them. And so it's a really natural, non-stigmatizing way of approaching it. And as Dina mentioned, because it's focused on the whole person in their environment, again, it's non-stigmatizing and it's client-led. So clients are motivated to do the change and to seek the skills. And with our flexibility, that's one of our adaptations is like we spread it over time and we go with the flow of the client. So it's not like we're saying, if you don't show up next week, you're done, or you have to do it in this certain way. We really listen. And that's a key thing. I wish I had a quote ready, but like we've definitely have many about just the impact of truly feeling heard. And we have clients that are in therapy, and not that therapy is a bad thing, but that it's so complementary. And it's different when you have someone who comes from the same cultural background, as Dina was mentioning, speaks the same language, comes from the same community even, and understands the unique strengths and the unique challenges of that community. And so we can really tap into additional resources and make it a meaningful program. And for some people, it's a stepping stone to reach other types of care, depending on what they need.
Thanks, Piper. And Benjamin, thank you so much for your question and for joining us all the way from Nigeria. I love that you're following our work. And, you know, while most of our work is focused on the US, we do get questions from folks all over the world. So if there's specific things that we can help you with or questions that you have, please do email us at mobilehealthmap at hms.harvard.edu. And if we haven't already put that in the chat, it looks like Tonix put it in, but we can put it in again so you guys can reach out to us. And thank you, Dina, for putting your email in there. And speaking of requests for help, I will say this year has been an amazing amazing time for our work nationally in helping other mobile clinics. Just in terms of the number of requests we're getting for mobile clinics, both those that have been around for a while and also new ones that have started up during COVID, has really grown exponentially. And so we are being invited every day to help mobile clinics with different aspects of their work, especially around research, evaluation, and communicating impact, and are working in an advisor / consultant role with a number of clinics. And I've also been frequently speaking at conferences about our work to try to help people in whatever way we can, and to tailor that support to the needs of the community, just like we do with the Family Van. The other thing I just want to add about Healthy Roads is that this is the first time that we know of that Problem Management Plus has been implemented in the US. As Piper mentioned, it was developed internationally for low resource settings. And we worked very closely with Partners in Health, who's implemented this internationally, to adapt it here in the US. And as a result of our success, the initial pilot was actually funded by Blue Cross Blue Shield Foundation of Massachusetts. Because of the success that we had with that pilot, and now with ongoing funding for that work, they've asked us to help them spread Problem Management Plus across the state, and to work with them over the next 3 years on this special initiative to really increase community-based mental health resources, which is so important. So we're doing work advising on Problem Management Plus, on mobile healthcare across the US. And I also mentioned that I teach, and I recently published a book. So here's a shameless plug. I have a new book called Health Program Planning and Evaluation. I can drop a link in the chat. It's in its 5th edition, and I'd love for you guys to take a look at it and let me know what you think. If you love evaluation like I do, you'll love this book, or you want to learn more about it, please take a look. So I want to pause for a second. We have about 15 minutes left, and I got a chat about our new van. So I may pitch it to Mary Catherine and Gigi to talk about our new clinic, our new vehicle. But first, let me see if there are any other hands or questions. All right, so Gigi and Mary Catherine, could you tell us a little bit about our new vehicle and how we went about selecting it and what it's like to be out there in our new vehicle?
Yeah, for me, it's way better. Not perfect, but I love it. I love it because we just have hot water on it yesterday. It feels so good. We can wash our hands with warm water. But when I was expect to get hot water for the whole year, and they said nope. In 2 weeks we're gonna shut off the hot water, so we don't mess up the pump. So we're gonna take it from there. We can deal with it. It's less headache for me to park because it's smaller than the big one, because the big one was harder to turn and everything. This one, you don't need a CDL to drive it. It's just heavy, but you don't need a CDL to drive it. And it's comfortable for the clients. For us, it's a relief so that we know we just go out, and if in case anything happen, I'm sick or something, I don't feel okay, somebody else can just drive the van. And we choose the color by all of us, not one. And like, I love the colors on Nancy because it's one of the color we have on the van. We have yellow, we mix the colors and everything. It's really wonderful to have a new van out there, and I will pass it on to MK.
Thanks. And, Gigi is a master driver because she was able to maneuver our former van, the 38-foot van, around the streets of Boston. And this one is 30 feet, so it's a little smaller, but it's a pretty big truck van. And also the older van didn't have heater air conditioning in the cab where Gigi drove it. So on a hot day, she would be so hot and overheated, like 120 degrees up there probably. And on the cold days, she was freezing. So it's nice to have a reliable van. This van came to us, Boston Scientific called us and said, what can we do? We have a commitment to fight, structural racism and advance health equity. What can we do? And we said, well, we'd like a new van. And they said, sure. So the van was a little more expensive than we had asked for. And so Harvard chipped in the rest and we were able to purchase it. We went through quite a few vendors. We ended up with Farber, and they've been wonderful. Everybody heard about the chip shortage during the pandemic. So this van was on the lot, and we do know some other mobile clinics had tried to get vans before and they still don't have them. So we got what we could get with the money that we had, and we're happy that we have this reliable, state-of-the-art vehicle. It's actually the same vehicle that the Harvard Police Department uses. So we got to see it up front before we decided to purchase it. And just a little background, because it was really designed by our team and our community. We knew we needed a private space for Healthy Roads, so there's a private room. What we did was we brought our team out to a park, and we had rulers and chalk, and we drew out the floor plan on the ground and literally stood in it and tried to walk from room to room and see how the flow would go and see how the van would work. And with that, we were able to, come up with a design that has been working for us. So it's great to have this new van. Gigi doesn't have to warm it up for 2 hours before she starts it. So hopefully she can sleep a little later. I'm not sure. But we're really grateful. And like Gigi said, the design was created by a mass art student of our former van, and we wanted to keep the same feel but change the color. So our team got together and they sent us some color options, and then we went out into the community and the community voted. And Simone knows, she was out there and they were taking check marks and everything. And so the community voted, and this is what the community decided to go with. So it's great. It has a restroom. It has an exterior sink outside of the restroom. It has a medical fridge. It has a regular fridge. It has some private areas for consultation and healthcare screenings. And like Gigi said, it does not need a CDL, commercial driver's license. So when Gigi is on vacation, she doesn't have to feel guilty because we can have somebody else drive it. So, and she shouldn't, because she works really hard. We want everyone to take the time they need and deserve.
I just want to add that we had so much fun the day that we went to the communities, to survey the communities for the college, because we had 3 pictures of 3 colors that the van could possibly be. And we would just come to busiest places where the van usually stops. We went back to the communities where the van usually stops, and I would just show the pictures, and people, how sometimes you approach people on the street and people don't want to talk to you and stuff, and just walk with them. Which color do you like best? Which color do you like best? I'm checking off, just gonna check this out. So it was a lot of fun, and that's how we picked the colors, and I love it. We love the colors.
Mm-hmm. Thanks, Simone. And what is it like? Because Simone, you got to work a little bit on the old van, and now you're on the new van. What do you like about the new van or miss about the old van?
I like that the new van, there's some little perks that we didn't have it on the old van, and I think that also the old van, the time that I worked at the old van was during COVID, so we're mostly working outside of the van. So the new van, they have it just looks like more light. There's more light in the new van, I think. There's a lot more light. There's a lot of more, it looks more open, I think, but also we have the privacy. We have the doors there that we can shut it down, close the doors, and we have a little privacy for patients. If we're having, a conversation that is a little more private, or if we're doing something else, we have a little more privacy there. I love that we have a bathroom. The old bathroom is not as reliable. And I also I love that like Gigi is way more comfortable driving and picking up this van than the old van. The old van had a hole by her foot. By Gigi, there's a hole where air would come in right in. So, well, the old van we had that for what, 10 years, right? So it's
Yes,
about time, yeah.
Nell husband have to come with stuff to the van so he can help me to put stuff on the hole. So the cold air, the freezing air would not freeze my toes. Yeah, it was so funny.
Yeah, we're so glad we're entering this winter with a nice insulated, warm van. So it should be a much easier winter. What
Yeah,
other
and
questions?
Simone, and well, just to say one more thing, after we got the new van, Simone did raise her hand and say she wanted to learn how to drive it. So she is our backup driver, and we're very lucky to have her, and she does a great job. And Gigi trained her, so.
Yep.
Next is gonna be Tynex.
Yeah, Tonic said he wants to drive it. That's great.
Yeah.
What else? What other questions do you guys have? I know we're coming right up on time, and we'll wrap up in about 5 minutes, but what else do you guys want to know in these last 5 minutes? Hi, Carson. I'm glad you were able to join us. Carson worked with us this past summer as a volunteer and was the volunteer extraordinaire. It's great to see you, Carson.
It's good to see all of you too. I miss the band so much, and I'm glad to hear everything's going well.
Fantastic. Good to see you.
You know, before we do anything, because I'm gonna have to head out to work. This morning I feel really good about the volunteers. When they came in, always Simone knows, Dina knows. I told them I don't like them when Elle knows. And I said, this is Simone kids, this is Gwenelle kids, they're not my kids. But they know, I'm joking. And they'll love it after a little while when they get to know me. And I saw something this morning that's really touching me because we are busy. Each one of us was on a boat taking care of the clients. And I don't know her name, Simone, and it's not Margaret. Margaret is right in front of me.
Zoe.
And she came in, I saw her taking somebody's blood pressure. And she have to sit on the waiting area. And what I saw her doing is she put her knee down. And then she said, you can just feel comfortable. Let me just do your blood pressure. So it's like she knee down in front of that lady so she can take care of her. Those kind of stuff really make the clients comfortable to come in more in the van. And then that's the thing, they're gonna come back. What is that young lady that's taking care of me? That's the same thing, that young man already have lady 80 years old, where's my boyfriend? I need my boyfriend to take my blood pressure. So, and when I saw that, I don't have a chance to talk to her, but definitely next week, I will talk to her about it. It was very nice and very touching to see her doing that because the client really respect those kind of stuff because when she was going outside, she come all the way from the front and she saw me, she said, Gigi, she's really good. I said, thank you, and I appreciate it. So I just want Simone to know about this because that's her kids, not my kids.
They're kids too, Gigi. You love them. You love them.
Any other questions or thoughts you guys want to share? I want to just shout out, I'm not going to put you on the spot, but shout out Josephina and Margaret, who are key parts of our team. Josephina is the staff assistant and a writer, an extraordinarily gifted writer. And so we lean on her anytime we need editing or writing. And Margaret is a fellow with us from Life Together and I forget your actual title because really you're a Jack or a Jane of all trades, but does a lot on our social media and communications and outreach and preparing for this webinar. So Josephina and Margaret, thank you so much for your work. You're quiet, but mighty. Anyone else want to say anything or ask anything as we wrap up? Well, then I'll just say thank you again to everyone I saw a lot of people introduce themselves as fans of the Family Van, and I love that. I love that we have a fan club, and we depend on your support, your moral support, your financial support, your time. And we just can't say enough how much we appreciate you and the ways that you help us to be successful. We couldn't do this without you. And it seems appropriate to do this and thank you during this month of Thanksgiving. So we give thanks for you and encourage you, please do reach out if you have any questions anytime. To the 2 addresses that you really want to remember are Mobile Health Map at hms.harvard.edu. That's for our national work. And locally, the Family Van at, oh wait, is it Family Van or the Family Van? I think it's the Family Van at hms.harvard.edu. All right. Well, guys, thank you so much. We hope to hear from you soon.
Thank you, Molly. Thank you, everyone. 30 good years.
Woohoo! Thank you, Nancy. 30 good years. And everybody
Thanks,
for coming.
Josephina. It's Family Van, not the Family Van. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hey, Michael, you caught us just at the end,
Yeah.
just wrapping up.
Yeah, I'm embarrassed. Sorry. I knew I was going from a Countway thing to you guys, and I was like, overlap, but I can get, at first I thought a good solid 20 minutes. Of course, I left Countway late and then could not connect to the internet when I got into the office, restarted, still wouldn't connect to the, anyhow.
For those of you who don't know Michael, he is in the Office of Finance and works very closely with Mary Catherine on our financial management, and is, I think I can also say, is a fan of the Family Van.
Yes.
And came out to see the van in person.
I'm a fan of the van, you know?
We need buttons that say that, fan of the van.
There we go, yeah.
Van fan.
I'm a van fan.
And then I should give Michael credit for the face, like, you know.
Yeah.
Where Michael?
All right. Well, thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for coming, everybody.